Hey, it's Dave Brown here, host of Now with Dave Brown on AMI. Check out this latest highlight from the show.
Later this month, award-winning musician and author Christa Couture will release a brand new single titled To Us. And dropping by now to give us a sneak peek of that song is Christa herself. Hey, Christa, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to see you and hear you.
You too. I was saying yesterday on the show when we were just promoting that you were coming on, it was like, wow, this is like right back into a time machine here and a bit of a reunion. So it's very cool to be here with you this morning. Your new song's being described as having a profound sense of loss balanced by a fragile sense of hope. Wondering if you can elaborate on that sentiment and tell us a little bit about what the song's about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that balance is my whole shtick in most of the work that I make. I wrote this song. I actually wrote it in 2016 at the end of what had been a really hard year personally for me. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, which was going to put my singing career on hold. I'd finalized my divorce. The relationship I'd gotten into after that imploded. I was like moving house. Anyways, it was just a hard year. And I wrote this song as a kind of like, well, that was tough. It might get tougher. I don't know. I don't want to jinx this, but also I've made it this far, to us. Like this has been brutal, but we're still here. Enter 2020, 2021. It seemed like the right time when a lot of people, might resonate with this idea of like, wow, things are really hard. We don't know what's going to come next. We feel cautious about being too optimistic sometimes, but at the same time, we feel hopeful. We hope for the best. We're looking forward. We made it this far. So that's what the song is about.
It almost sounds like you go from the sort of origins of this in 2016 and in a very sort of personal situation to 2020 where it almost seems like you're reacting for the collective. I mean, it's quite a journey there.
Yeah. I mean, I think exactly. The song was written at a really personal moment. And actually on New Year's Eve that year, I posted it on Facebook, just like a video on my phone and hadn't thought much of it. But it just felt like, yeah, exactly. It felt like the right time. It felt like it was now something that wasn't just about me, which is not what I anticipated at the time. At the time I was just kind of processing my emotions as one does through art. And then, some time passed. I have some perspective on my own experiences. And then, it became something that I thought we could all agree on, that we were celebratory, but we're realistic.
I wonder about the whole process of taking your own experiences and your own life and just putting it out there. I mean, we live in an era where we hear all the time, everybody puts everything on social media and, every fleeting thought shows up on a screen somewhere. But to delve into the things, like just a couple of things that you've already talked about here, dealing with illness, dealing with divorce. That's heavy stuff to be putting out there and sharing with people in this way. Is that something that is easy for you to do, or is it more that it's good for you to do it and therefore important for you to do it?
I think because I do share so much from my personal experience and even this song, like I think I'm kind of known for talking about the hard stuff and sharing the hard experience I've been through. And that said, I am actually very deliberate and intentional about what I make public. I think because I create work that is vulnerable, I create work that is, honest, but at the same time, in the crafting of a song, in the crafting of, my memoir and the choices I make to what I put online, I'm very clear about what I'm making public and what I'm not. There's all sorts of hard stuff I don't, I don't put out there. And I've learned that over time, like I think at the beginning of my career 20 years ago, that line was not as clear. And so it's been through experience that I have found what we're all going to have our own boundary, but I have figured out what mine is and what feels like something artful that I can offer to, people, to listeners, to an audience versus what's, personal and cathartic. Like that's the stuff that needs to stay private. And that said, it is meaningful to me to share my experiences in a way that people might connect to. You know, we all want to feel seen and heard. We all want to feel a little less lonely,
Mm.
particularly with and hard things we're going through. And so I have found when I share these experiences and people, respond to me saying, me too, or like, well, this happened to me and I can relate in these ways. That feels very meaningful because I've given them something, but I also get to feel less alone. It's this two-way connection where we kind of get to see each other. So yeah, it's both. Like it's not that it's easy for me to do, but I am driven to do it. It is meaningful me to do it.
Right. Let's talk a little bit more about the video that accompanies this single. Now, before we get a sneak peek about it, can you just talk to us a little bit about the vision behind the idea of incorporating the lyrics into the video?
Well, lyric videos are kind of like a low budget music video thing that people often do. It means there is something on YouTube. It means that people can see the lyrics, if they're curious, because we can't always hear the words accurately. And I wanted to create something that kind of spoke to like a New Year's Eve feeling and also the bit of like the chaos that I'm alluding to. And so I found this footage. It's the morning after a big night, and the kind of our main character in this video is walking through the house, sort of assessing the aftermath. And it just felt like a real fit for the song, a kind of like, looking back at all the stuff that just happened, and wondering what to do next. And I like lyrics. To me, that it means a lot what I'm saying in the words. And so to make a lyric video for me is like, here's exactly what I'm saying, just so you know.
So the fact that the lyrics are sort of overlaid right across the entire screen, over top of images, was it intentional then, to make those lyrics more than just sort of closed captioning, to deliver the lyrics to the audience?
Yeah, I think, with lyric videos, like with this style, that's kind of the choice you make. And so it does make the lyrics very prominent, like they're part of that visual in a way. So yeah, it was a choice, absolutely. And maybe I'll make another video for it where you don't have the lyrics. I don't know. But to start and with releasing the song, it felt like a good way to get it out there.
We've got a sample from the music video here, and in the clip, a woman awakens from bed and begins to tidy up her apartment as she circles back to the bedroom to wake up her sleeping partner. Let's roll the clip.
Oh, our human ways that we tally up the days. We fold the corner of a page to keep our spot. And then we act amazed to see a number change. Like it's us that's rearranged when it's not. Well, I'm not one to tell you, hun, it'll be alright. Of course it might be, but here's the rub, not tonight. So happy new year to choices, to losses and divorces, to all the good intent that missed the mark. Happy new year to illness, to stillness and to brilliance, to that which didn't kill us, that made us hard. Well, I'm not one to tell you, hun, we're in the clear. Of course we might be, but here's the rub, probably not this year.
That's really good. That's really good. Wow. Okay, so I want to know about the whole process of this through COVID, because, I mean, from day one where we flip the switch on a Sunday and they say, okay, AMI, we're doing everything from home. And all of a sudden we're all learning how to broadcast from home. Everybody's broadcasting from home. All kinds of people working from home, trying to figure out, how do I do my job from home? How do you record a video? How do you write a song, record a song during COVID times?
Right? So very different. Like everything you described, we're all going, wait, what? So there's a producer, Steve Dawson, that I made 2 albums with. One in person in Vancouver years ago, one in Nashville with him. I love him. He's wonderful to work with. During the pandemic, he set up something he calls the Hen House Express. That's the name of his studio, the Hen House. And he has a bassist in Vancouver, a drummer here in Toronto, Steve's down in Nashville. Well, they will remotely record the session. And so the process, I started here where I just recorded like a demo of the song, on my phone, sent it to Steve. There was lots of emails, basically, is how we did it, with lots of emails and file transfers. And then I just recorded the vocal here at home, actually with this mic. For any audio nerds, this is just a Blue Yeti. This is not usually what you would like record your vocals for an album on, but COVID times, it's good enough. And through, a bit of post-production and what they can do with filters and whatnot, the vocal sound turned out great. And so I recorded the vocal here. Steve lined it up, in Nashville. Gary Craig did the drums and Jeremy Holmes did the bass. And then Steve added a few extra bells and whistles. So it was done exactly in this kind of remote way, but it was really fun. Like it felt sort of like a drive-through song recording or something. Like I just did my part and then waited to hear what they did. It felt like a blind date or something because we weren't jamming in person. We weren't trying things out in person, which is normally what I would do. You're trying different ideas and you're practicing. But they're all players that I've played with before and that I trust implicitly. So I was like, here's the song. Try something. Let's see what comes out of this. And so it turned out great. Very different from what I would normally do. But even kind of with the spirit of the song, I was like, I'm just going to let go. We're just going to see what comes out of this and try to have fun.
Singer, songwriter, musician, radio announcer, and acclaimed writer. You released your book last year, How to Lose Everything. I'm wondering how audience responded to that.
It's been great. It's been so great. So yeah, it's a memoir called How to Lose Everything, where each chapter goes into a different loss that I've experienced. And even though it's been COVID and I haven't had chances, to like be in bookstores and meet people in person, the messages I get from people, on Instagram or wherever, people who've read it, people who connect to it, people who've learned something from it, people who then share their, story of loss with me, which is always incredibly meaningful, always feels very generous that someone would want to respond by saying, hey, this is what happened to me. That means a lot to me when people take the time to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that missing that connection to the audience. I mean, we've had all kinds of connections. Zoom is, great early on, but I'm hearing a lot of people now just saying, I've got Zoom fatigue, right? There's no substitute for that intimacy, that one-on-one connection.
Yeah, there's no substitute. And a couple weeks ago, I got to go to Vancouver for the Vancouver Literary Festival. And it was my first in-person literary festival. I've done a bunch exactly on Zoom and there have been good conversations and all of that. But being in a room, all COVID safe, but being in a room with people and doing a reading and people lining up for me to sign the book, it was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This does not happen on Zoom. People who say, can I give you a hug? Like it's not the same online. Yeah, we all know that.
Now, come 2022, I would imagine that you're looking to do a little bit of touring and promoting for sure. And with that in mind, I want to know how audiences, can sort of, get to know more about you, where they can go online for information and details there, and when and where can they access this single and the lyric video to us?
The lyric video is available now on YouTube. It'll be on all the various platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, November 26th. So I think you can pre-save it and what have you. I'm at ChristaCouture.com. Instagram is my go-to social. So if anyone's on Instagram, find me there at Christa Couture.
Great reconnecting with you. Congratulations on the song, on the video, and wishing you all the best in what remains for 2021 and what is sure to be a very busy 2022.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Christa Couture, musician, author, former co-host here on AMI Audio, talking to us about her new single, To Us, which drops November 26th on all major platforms.
Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV or download the podcasts wherever you listen.